My name is Justin Chu. I am the Senior Program Associate for the Field Engagement Team here at Prosperity Now. And today I'm joined with Takima Robinson, the Director of Asset Building Programs here at CAUSE, and Michelle Ditzian, who is a CAUSE VITA volunteer. How are you two doing today?
We're doing great. Thank you. And you?
Doing great. Glad to have you both on. Let's dive right into this conversation. And we'll start with the first discussion question, which is how have you guys moved the program around during the COVID pandemic?
Okay, so I guess I'll start. So this year and last year has been far from ordinary. We had to make a lot of adjustments. So what CAUSE has done, due to the pandemic, we have shifted our programs. CAUSE manages over 50 VITA sites throughout Connecticut. And since last March, the middle of last March 2020, when COVID hit, we went virtual. So most of our sites are now virtual, with some sites providing drop-off services, and maybe I think we have one site that provides in person. However, it's following strict COVID protocols.
I'm working with the Woodbridge VITA site primarily, but a couple of other sites more tangentially. And in Woodbridge, we're based in the senior center, so our population is largely over 80. And what we're finding with that group is some of them have no problem at all using their computers and uploading documents, and many of them find it a very daunting prospect. So we're running a drive-through program. We're calling it VITA Valet, and we have a very long interview over the phone to begin with to get the basic information. Then we give the client a very long list of documents they'll have to bring. We follow up with an email and a checklist, and then they drive in, give us the documents, park. We run in and scan everything, give it back to them in the parking lot. Then we say goodbye. We talk to them over the course of the week a few more times on the phone, and then the next week they drive in again to do the signing of the final document. So clients find it pretty easy, and it ends up being a lot more labor intensive on our end, but they don't feel that they're out of possession of their documents for very long, which I think is good. And they feel like they're being kept abreast of the process of preparing their taxes pretty well.
Yeah, and I think that your story, Michelle, is definitely one that we've heard all over the field, right? Just trying to, integrate yourself as, a cornerstone of the community, right? Working out of a senior center. We've had stories of people using bank windows, pharmacy parking lots, whatever it takes to, get the job done. I want to ask both of you, really, why is VITA important to your local community? Like, in your eyes, why do you think VITA matters?
Oh my goodness, VITA is vital to the community we serve, the low to moderate income population. Most of these taxpayers aren't aware of the benefits of the VITA program or the credits that they're eligible for. For instance, the EITC, the child tax credit. And so by coming to a VITA site, they increase their chances of getting those credits. So, and especially now during the pandemic, when taxpayers are facing so many financial burdens, going to a VITA site to get their taxes done for free can lessen that burden.
And my story is much more personal. To coin a term that Matthew from the former Street Cred VITA site used to use, he said that people qualified for the EITC, which is the Earned Income Tax Credit, according to a certain sweet spot in their lives. If they were a particular age range and had some income that was earned, they were working, but they had little enough income and large enough responsibilities in terms of having dependents, then they would qualify for this extra money. And such a thing happened to me for 3 years in a row in my mid 30s when I had young children and wasn't able to work because my husband was very sick and I had children. And all of a sudden I was getting a tax refund that was more than we had put in. And I didn't know why that was or how that could be, and researched it and realized that's an earned income credit that I actually get something for nothing, but only for a short period of time, because pretty soon I was able to go back to work and I was able to make more money and didn't qualify for it anymore. And I thought that was a great program, that it helped me right when I needed it. And I feel really committed to making sure other people get that help when they need it too.
Yeah, I think that's a great story. I think that really touches on, we hear in the business, we hear all the time, like VITA clients become VITA volunteers, become VITA staff, right? They reach their final form, so to speak. I think the last question I'll leave to you guys is, why is VITA important to you in particular?
Okay, so I tell this story all the time. 12 years ago, I was introduced to VITA to volunteer, and I did. And so the next year I said, I'll go back, I'll volunteer, because I learned a new skill, met new people, and it was fun. So I'll volunteer again. And I went through all of the training. And the agency that I worked for at the time said they had a site coordinator, so I can just be a volunteer. Great, I'll do that. Well, the night the site was supposed to open up, the site coordinator did not show up. And so we had a full list of people there. So we had to, unfortunately, close the site that night. But I went home disheartened. I couldn't believe it. I said, these people waited to get this appointment. They came, they're ready to have their taxes done, and we had to send them away. So the next day I went into my supervisor's office and I said, I'll be the site coordinator. I went through the training, I'll do it. And I did. And it was a little crazy that year because I wasn't trained to be a site coordinator. I was trained to be a volunteer. So I had to learn as I went along, and our IRS relational manager, he was very helpful in that process. But I said to my supervisor, I'm not coming back next year. This is it. I'm going to do, this is my final year. I did it, but I won't come back as a site coordinator next year because it was too much. And she said, okay. And then we shut down the site. And on that last day, I got a call, and there were 2 clients downstairs, a married couple, and they needed their taxes amended because they went somewhere, paid, and there was a mistake. And I said, okay, you know what? I'll take these clients, and that's it. I promise you, I'm done. And so we sat down and I went over their return, and right away I noticed that the mom went to school, but on the return, it didn't have the education credit, so she missed that. So I said, okay, there is a mistake. I can do the return. So I started it, but then we as I talked to them, I learned more. I learned that they adopted a child. I learned that, she was qualified for the education credit and other credits. And so I contacted the IRS and I talked to them, and they talked me through it. And as I'm doing the return, I'm watching their refund go up, go up, go up, go up. And I just knew, I'm like, something's not right, because at one point their refund was more than their AGI, their adjusted gross income. And so I'm on the phone with the IRS and I said, can you see what I see? And he said, yes. I said, is this right? He said, yes. I said, can I tell them? He said, you should. $19,355. That was their total refund. And so that's why VITA is important to me. Because of that, they were able to put a down payment on their home. And I'm still in touch with them to this day.
That's a wonderful story. It really is. And one of the exciting things about the EITC is that here you get this little windfall. It's a small population of people who get a little windfall sometime in April or May, and it allows them to pay first and last on a new apartment. It allows them to buy a car. It allows them to put a down payment on a house. Many people save that money all year long for an emergency, but what's exciting is that it's the person's choice how they're going to use that money. And because it comes all at once, they're limitless as to what they can do with it. It's giving people power, and that's what we want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to end this conversation, giving people power, making sure that they use this vital service. Thank you, both of you, for taking time out of your day to share your stories. And if you know anyone else that wants to share the story and join us for VITA Awareness Day and any other VITA stuff going forward, you can use the hashtag VITAWorks and hashtag VITA Awareness Day. And we look forward to catching you in the next of our video interviews. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.